Great grind day, great grind day. I don't know why I love saying that. Welcome to the Boss 2020 training and Q&A call. I actually think I'm beginning to like doing this. Hope everybody's having a phenomenal evening. I want to get started. We're going to eliminate a lot of the fluff. I want to really just give you guys some information that's going to help you move the needle right now. I want to share what BOSS is. It's an acronym for the business of speaking and coaching. All right, let's do a little bit of housekeeping real quick. For those that are familiar with GoToWebinar, there is a box there for you to put questions. I would love for everybody that is on the line right now to just drop a question. Just say, hey, Kendall, I'm here. Just say, hey, I'm here. I'm here. I see some familiar names. Good to see you, Coach Rice. Good to see you, Art Mitch. I'm in this. Clifton Barnes, good to see you. Art Mitch says I'm here. Just want to make sure you guys have it because I'm going to open it up for Q&A. And I just want to make sure you guys, good. Gotcha. Ernest, I see you. Good to see you, sir. Drew, Stacia, good to see you. Who else? Just want to make sure. Now, let's do one more. Do the hand raise feature on your phone. Do the hand raise feature on your phone. Hand raise feature on your phone. Perfect. Yep, that is what we're going to be using as we ask questions later. Perfect. Love it. All right. So let's go ahead and get this started. Guys, grab your pen, grab your paper. We're going to get going. All right. If you have any questions prior to, take some time and write them down right now. Because if you have those questions now, by the time we go into Q&A, you should be ready, and we're gonna stick and move. We're sticking and moving. All right. So this is BOSS. It is the business of speaking and coaching. We just finished up a BOSS class this past weekend, and it was phenomenal. First quarter BOSS, we had I think about 20 or so new graduates come through the first quarter. And the thing I love about BOSS 2020 is it is, I want to say, almost like all new content. So I tell people all the time, I'm still in the game. Like, I'm still working, I'm still coaching, I'm still speaking, I'm still getting gigs. And so what I'm doing is, as I'm learning, I'm adding it to the program. So what I'm going to share with you this evening is actually frameworks and pillars that I've actually figured out that it works. And so I want to share it with you guys. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll see enough value. You'll have enough of your questions answered for you to say, you know what, let me jump in there with Kendall and his team, so I can learn and grow my business, my speaking and coaching business. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first slide that I want to share with you is, I want to let you guys know, I've been doing this. I showed a video this weekend. I presented to with the group that graduated this weekend. And what I did was I took them on a chronological journey from probably, it was about 2012 all the way up to 2000 and now 2020. And so I showed them some past videos, how I started. I started off speaking to elementary school students, middle school students, high school students, college kids. And I showed a couple of those videos. It was actually very funny. They laughed at me. They were like, Kendall, you were whack. Like, you were horrible. No story behind my message. A lot of yelling, just a whole lot of fluff. And then I showed them a couple of videos leading up to where I am now, and showed them the growth and the development. And the lesson that I told them was, allow people to see you grow. And so one of the things that I'm proud of is being able to go back on my social media and looking at the work that I've put in. And I'm proud to say that I've worked with some phenomenal companies, organizations, the FBI, the Chicago Bears, Delta, Allstate, Ford, UAW Ford, Pepsi, Orlando Magic, just to name a few. I have been very honored and blessed to be able to say that I've worked with some very dynamic companies. And the crazy thing is, looking into second and third quarter of 2020, I'm going to have the opportunity to work with some new phenomenal companies. And so to let you guys know, I've been doing this since, truthfully, I've been doing it on and off since I can remember, from the behind the barber's chair. Then after that, and I always tell people what got me going was there were C's. Now, this ain't on the slide. I'm just going to throw these in there for free. 5 C's. And the first C was I got a coach. And that was CJ. He's president of ETA. CJ was my coach. And not only did I get a coach, I became coachable because I was hard-headed. I thought I had the answers. And so I got a coach and I became coachable. The second thing I did was I started to create content, meaning I started sharing some things on social media consistently. The next thing I did was I learned how to communicate. That was putting my story together, understanding what my ULEs were, unique life experiences, and how they connected and connect to my story. Then the next thing I did was I got committed, right? I got committed. And committed was I was willing to sleep in the airports for a couple of years while I was on the road learning, struggling. I had a couple of cars repoed during that time frame when I was growing into this. So I got committed. It was all in, not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I made a decision, and my wife was with me and still is on this journey, but I had to prove to her that I was serious about making this happen. And then the last C was consistent. And that is, I think, one of the biggest challenges. I think the first, all of them is a challenge, but I think getting committed and being consistent, there's a lot of starts and stops with us. And so once I really got into those 5 C's, I started to see some movement, and hence now you can see some of the companies that I've worked with. And so what I'm doing here is I'm gonna put together some of the things that I've learned along this journey that took me from zero. And literally when I started this, and I started like committed 2015, January 2015. And when I got committed and started from 2015 up to now, multiple 6 figures, we grew from zero. And so working for these companies has been phenomenal, and I've learned a lot. And what I'm going to share here with you is going to be part of it. So I created a program, and it's called BOSC, and it's the business of speaking and coaching. Now, let me tell you why I did it. When I started on the journey 2015, I was speaking, of course. I was coaching, of course. But I loved sharing not just the speaking and the coaching with clients. I love training people on how to do what I do. I love doing that before I was speaking and coaching. I love doing it in the barbershop. I love doing it when I was running my consulting business. I love sharing information with people, and I love training and coaching people. And so when I created this, what it looks like now is nothing like what it looked like in 2017 when I started BOSC. And so I started it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to put in, there were 5 modules, I think it was, and one of them was mobile grind and social media. And I would have some people that I work with come on and share information with people in the group. We were doing calls. I promise you, a couple of, like the first year, maybe the first 2 calls were like, I did a call that was 4 hours with the first group one time, 4 hours. It was like the second call, a 4-hour call. We did a 3-hour call. It was just crazy. I had to learn and I had to grow, just like with any business. And so for those of you that are just starting or growing your business, understand and give yourself the grace to grow in it, right? So we got BOSS. And from BOSS, I had to learn and grow and develop what I call the Q framework, right? So this is the Q framework. Now, it looked real sweet. For those of y'all that know me, my turtle was going hard, G Rice. I actually sat down and built this out. And I'm gonna say this Q framework initially was called the Q4, right? Meaning 4 questions. And I built it from the Q4, then it went to the Q6. And then it went from the Q6 to the Q7. And then it went from the Q7 to the Q8. And so right now we're stuck at the Q8. And one of my guys, Jay Ross, said to me, he said, look, why don't you just stop calling it the Q with a number, just say the Q framework, just in case I decided to add some more pieces to it. And so I have the Q framework. So let's kind of walk through this, because this is the foundation. This is the very first thing. It doesn't matter if you are a growing and a scaling business owner, professional speaker, doesn't matter how much money you make. Whenever anybody comes to me, whether they're in BOSC or they're in my one-on-one program, I always walk through this Q framework. What it does is going to give us clarity, it's going to give us clarity to help us as we go forward with the 80-20. Now, the 80-20 is the way this business is set up. 80% of it is business marketing and promoting. 20% of it is actually speaking and coaching. The 80% is what's critical. And so when you can answer these questions in the Q8 and get some clarity, you'll know exactly what to put on your website, exactly where you're going to be marketing online and offline. You'll know exactly what to do to begin to build your business and have that foundation. And so this Q framework is built like a pyramid, and at the base of it is the Q1. Q1, that's the first question. And that first question is, who are you? Who are you? Now, I know a lot of people, typically when I ask that question, they'll say, well, I do so-and-so. I am, or I do such and so. And it's typically an answer of what you do, not who you are. So let me use myself as an example. I am very driven. I'm very assertive. I'm aggressive. I'm results oriented, right? I'm not necessarily big on people. While I am a people person, my preference is I want to drive results. I do not need to be inspired or motivated to get things done. I am a self-starter. That's just me. I know what my core values are, right? That's me. So I have a very clear understanding of who I am and that self-awareness. And the way we help you with that in BOSC is, as soon as you come in, and this is anybody that works with me, whether you're in BOSC, BOSC Plus, or the BOSC Mastermind, or we're doing one-on-one work, you get what I call the W2J DISC assessment. And that's Welcome to the Jungle DISC assessment. And we use that assessment to help you identify who you are, those personalities, those characteristics, and help you become more aware. So the very foundation at the base of this Q framework is you need to know and understand who you are. The second question is, what do you do? I promise you, I ask a lot of people this question, and it's very difficult. And this is one of the toughest questions, because a lot of people come to me and they say, I want to make an impact. I want to make an influence. I want to inspire the world. That's cool. And that's great. And we probably saw somebody doing some stuff on social media. But when we really get down to it, we need to know what you do. And so I'm going to use myself as an example so you can kind of understand. So for me, what I do is I help individuals start, grow, and scale their speaker-driven businesses. I help individuals start, grow, and scale their speaker-driven businesses. So now for you, you want to use this this framework. So the what do you do? I've created a X. I help X accomplish Y so they can do Z. So you can use that as a framework to help you identify what you do. I help individuals start, grow, and scale their speaker-driven businesses, right? That's the Q2. Q3, question number 3. What experience do you have doing what you say you do? And this is critical because I've had people come to me and say, Coach, I want to be a business coach. I want to help people and show people how to start a business, but they have never themselves actually ran a business. They've been in corporate America or worked a job their entire life. And so they don't have any experience doing that. And so it's very important that you identify the experience that you have doing it, whether that's life experience, business experience, career experience, educational experience, whatever that looks like. It needs to connect. That experience needs to connect to what you do. It is important. That is what makes you the guru. That's what makes you the expert, right? Q4, question number 4. Who do you do it for? And that is identifying your ideal client and your ideal audience. Who do you do it for? Your client are the people that pay you. Your audience clap for you. There are instances where your client and your audience will be one and the same, but you have to identify what that ideal client looks like so that and audience, what they look like, so you'll have a clear understanding of the answers that we're going to need to answer for the next questions. Q5, What problem do you solve for that ideal client? This is one of the new ones that I just put in. So if I say I help individuals start, grow, and scale their speaker-driven businesses, then when I say what problem do I solve? Well, the problem is that they don't know how to start, they're stuck with growing, and they don't know how to scale. I'm solving that problem. So what problem do you solve for that ideal client and the ideal audience that you say you want to work with? All right. Where are they located? Where is this ideal client located, online and offline? So online, what social media platform are they ideally situated on? So I'll use myself again. If I help individuals start, grow, and scale speaker-driven businesses, in that context, my ideal client is first on Instagram, second on Facebook, third LinkedIn, and last Twitter, in that order. So I know exactly where they are. I know exactly what they're doing, and I know exactly where I should be posting. So you need to get clear on where they are online. You also need to get clear on where they are offline. And what that means is, what conferences do they attend? What workshops, what seminars, what meetings? Where are they offline? Where can I go to be where they are, right? That's the Q6. Question number 7. How are you, watch this, the 4 S's: showing, sharing, serving, and solving for them. How are you showing, sharing, serving, and solving? Now, what that means is, if I know that my ideal client is on Instagram, and for those of you that have, if you look at my Instagram, you'll see me showing, sharing, serving, and solving via video and memes. And what that looks like is, I'm coach. So I'm on the whiteboard, I'm putting stuff together, I'm doing frameworks, I'm showing you how to do this, I'm showing you how to do that. I'm showing you who I am because I'm telling you who I am. I am sharing with you what I do, and I am serving you with information, and I'm solving a problem that you have, which means you are immediately going to be attracted to me and what I'm sharing, showing, and serving and solving with you. So you need to know how you're going to do that. What does that look like? Via video. What does that look like? Via meme. All right, that's 7. And then the last one right now is, how are you connecting with them and bringing them into your RHQ? And the RHQ is the relationship headquarters. Now, this is what's so important because this is the back end. So, for example, everybody on here, you either saw an ad, you got an email, you saw something on social media, whatever that was for you, and you clicked the link. And when you clicked the link, you went online and you signed up, you registered for this webinar. When you registered, you came into my RHQ, my relationship headquarters. And all that means is you in my house now. And I can communicate with you the way I want to communicate with you. I'm not relying on social media to communicate with you. That means I have your name, I have your cell phone number, I got your email address, city, state, firstborn. I got firstborn. But I have the information from you, and I can now begin to show, share, serve, and solve via email, via text, and other ways that I'm going to use to build this relationship. So you want to know, and you got to get clear on how you're going to connect with them and bring them into your RHQ, right? Now, I want you to take a look at that. This is the Q framework, Q1 through 8. You must, it doesn't matter where you are. I know people who are doing 5 figures a month speaking, and when I get with them and we get clarity on this Q framework, it takes their business to the next level because it helps with their marketing, it helps with their promotion, and it helps them on the back end of their business. And you'd be surprised how many people don't have an RHQ. Coach, what is an RHQ? We'll talk about that in a second. All right, Q framework. So this was and is I'm gonna call it a live framework, meaning I'm adding questions to this all the time. I already know there's a couple more questions I'm gonna add to it. So probably by the next time you see it, it's gonna be the Q. It's probably gonna have 10 or 12 questions in it. All right, let's move forward. So the next thing that we do in the BOSS program. Like I said, this Q framework, that's the very first thing. And we get clarity on that, get homework assignments on that. We work with you inside of our Facebook group on that. I'll jump on a call with you to help you with that. The coaches will work with you on that, because before we go further, you got to get clear on that. Before we start to help you develop your story, we need to get clear on who you are and what you do. All right, next up. Once we get clear on that Q framework, then we begin to go into the pillars. Again, this is just so deep. Now, this is a live framework again, because when I started this was 5 pillars. And then I said, my goodness, I'm missing the most important pillar, the people part, right? So we got the Q framework all set. Now imagine that you're clear on everything and you're like, Coach, I'm clear. I'm ready to work with my pillars. All right. First pillar. The first pillar is people. Coach, what does that mean? We work with you and help you to build client relations. We need to communicate effectively and efficiently with people, identifying and knowing clearly who your ideal client is, knowing who your audience is, and being able to use the 4 E's. And the 4 E's are to be exciting, engaging, entertaining, and educating with the people that you're working with. Remember, you're in a business. So I tell everybody when they come into the first day of class, I say, pull out a pen and paper, pull out a pen and paper. And I want you to do the same thing. Write this down, write this down. And write, I am not a speaker or a coach. Write that down. I am not a speaker or a coach. I am a business owner, and speaking and coaching is a service that I offer, is a program that I offer. You are in the business of people. You're a coach, you speak, that's a service you provide. You're in the business of people. And so we need to make sure that we have good people skills. We need to make sure that there are times when you need to have that personal touch. And so we help you identify that, and we help you work through those people things, right? The second thing is program. And so I have Grindation over here just as a talking point, because when I started this in 2015, I started speaking, I started coaching, and all I had, well, I had a book written in 2012, but I had a book. But then all I had was a talk. I wasn't even doing really keynotes at that time, but I had a talk. And that was the only product or program technically that I had. And what I did was I started Grindation, and that became my program. And the way I started, I was on the phone with somebody one day. He wanted to come in and work with me one-on-one on a new program that I had. And it just came out of my mouth. I said, yeah, and when, while you're working with me, we work one-on-one, you'll also get access to Grindation. Now, I had made the word up a few months before that when I was speaking to a group, and it actually means the foundation of your grind. Go for it. But I told them you get membership in Grindation. Now, mind you, it didn't exist. I just created it when it came out of my mouth when I was on the phone with him. Got off the phone with him, he came in, then I jumped on the phone again with somebody else, and I said the same thing. I said, it's working, let me just keep it going. And so I created Grindation, and that was a program. Started off with speakers. And so what we help you do is we take the who you are and the what you do from the Q framework, and we help you develop your story from that. And then we attach it and connect it to some sort of a program as you go forward. Because from a business perspective, we need to monetize your message. And a program is a phenomenal way to do that, or also product, a program or a product. That is a phenomenal way to monetize your message. So the first pillar is people. The second pillar is program. Then once we get into the next pillar, it's the presentation or your story, right? And what that means is we take what you do from the Q framework, who you do it for, what you do and the experience that you have doing it, and we help you develop your signature story as it connects to your program and the ideal audience or people that you will be working with. I hope this is making sense. So now we're working with you to help you develop your presentation or your story, putting together your unique life experiences so that that presentation or that talk you can deliver in 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and still get your point across. And it connects to your program or product as well as your ideal client and audience. So definitely helping you build out that presentation. The next P in the pillar is platform. And this is critical on a couple of different levels. So the platform, remember that question in the Q framework that says, where is your ideal client located online, right? So now we've identified the platforms that they're on. And what we do in the platform pillar is not just the social media platforms, but we identify the offline platforms and determine where and how you need to put yourself on what platforms, the right platforms, where your ideal client and your ideal audience can be found. I'm gonna say that one again. We put all of this information together and help you determine what platforms do you need to get on, online and offline, and how to get on them. Literally showing you how to go and get the gig. Let me say it like that. You're gonna see like I don't do, let me say this, I don't do cold emails. Like I know before back in the day, and some of you might still do it. I don't do like send 100 emails out to different organizations or companies. We don't do that no more. We do something a little bit more sophisticated because we know exactly who we are, we know exactly what we do, and we know the platforms that we need to get on. So we help you identify those platforms and show you how to get on those ideal platforms, online as well as offline. And remember, a platform is a stage where you can speak in front of your ideal client. A platform is a phone call where you may have a discovery or a strategy call. A platform is a podcast. That's a platform. And on that platform, you share your presentation or your story that connects to a program that is designed for the people that are your ideal client and audience. I hope you're catching this because they all connect. All right. Presentation, platform. The next thing we do is remember that RHQ, that back-end process in the Q framework. And so now in the Q framework, we asked you, how are you connecting with them and bringing them into your RHQ? Right here, we're determining what RHQ you're going to use. We're determining what that utility is. Is it going to be Zoho? Is it going to be 17 Hats? Is it going to be Salesforce? Is it going to be MailChimp? Is it going to be Acuity or Calendly? Depending on your model, we will make some suggestions on what process you should look like, you should be using. What utility you should be using in the process. And then we'll have you put together your process map. All right, so let me show you what that looks like. Process map. So again, you guys either saw an ad, you got an email, you saw something on social media, you got a text. That initiated something. The process map is you get this information, it's in front of you. If you read it and you are attracted to it, you click this link. You went from the link over to another lead page that we have set up. And in there, you read these things about this training program, and you clicked a few buttons and you registered. When you came in, we captured and brought you into the RHQ. You received an email with the link for this. You received another, I believe it was an email with a video saying, thank you for registering. And you received a text this evening saying, thanks again for registering. I'm looking forward to seeing you. That is a process. And so we help you identify based on what your business model is, what that process needs to look like for you. Process. Critical, very important. And this is the 80. Remember I talked earlier about the 80-20 rule. This is the 80 in the 80-20 rule, the business behind the bag, process. Now, the last P in these 6 pillars is the profit. This is the bag. This is the one where, okay, we done did all that. Now, coach, we know the people we're working with. We know the program or the product that we have. We understand the platform that we need to be on, and we understand how to get on the platforms. We got a process in place, coach. Now what? Now we need to make sure that you're profiting. So what that means is, what are you using to accept payments? One of the things we talked about in the 2-day live this past weekend was different payment processing services you can use to help you collect and or send invoices, and making sure that what you're using works based on your business, based on your business model. So not only do we show you how to collect funds, showing you how to put the proposals together, how to put the invoice together, the contracts. We give you all of these samples. These are contracts that I'm currently using, contracts that I've used in the past. Every time I update one, the whole nine. How to connect with people when payments are late, like those email templates and what they look like, that the bag. And then beyond that, we follow the ESG model. ESG, earn it, save it, grow it. Earn it, save it, grow it, the ESG model. And we show you what percentage of your revenue should you save? What percentage of your revenue should you be growing? What percentage should you be paying yourself? We go into all of the intricacies about the money, making sure that you have your business bank account set up, making sure that you're doing the things you need to do. You got an accountant. You've at least sat with an accountant. One of the mistakes that we make, not we, let me tell you what I did early on. My wife used to do the taxes early on, right? Wasn't doing too much or nothing. And then once we hit the first 6-figure mark, I told my wife, I was like, look, we need to find an accountant because it's getting too serious right now. So I had to stop her, and we got an accountant. Now watch this. The first team of accountants that we had, they started off great and they got us to a point, but it didn't work out. And I had to end up getting another accountant, right? But you learn as you grow. So all of that information I'm sharing with you, the ups and downs, the things that we have gone through, via taxes and all that, how important it is. And watch this, something as simple. So when I started, the name of my company is Grindation. And when I started it, I did the LLC myself, went online myself and did it because I had done it before. Biggest mistake. The first set of accountants that we had, I ended up, I think we were like $90,000 that we had to pay to the IRS. And I remember the accountant saying, oh, had you set it up as an S Corp, we could have probably saved you $25,000 to $30,000 in taxes. And I was like, oh my God, like just those little nuggets. So when people ask me now, coach, should I do an LLC or S? I always tell them, go get an accountant and let everything in life or everybody do what they're supposed to do. Get an accountant to get that information. And we go through all of that, making sure and helping you set up all of those things. All right. So that is the program, right? When you come into BOSC, we make sure that you have a very tight foundation. You have the Q framework, making sure that you get the clarity that you need, the understanding that you need, so that you can begin to go into the pillars so that you can actually start putting things together. You got your signature story that you'll have together as it connects to your presentation and or your program, and the people, identifying the people that you're going to be speaking to, and how to get the gigs, how to put yourself on those ideal platforms, whether it's via phone, on stage, on podcasts, whatever that looks like, how to get in front of people to connect, and then walking you through that back end process and making sure you know what to do with the money once that comes in. Now, this thing is so powerful because one of the things, I've seen a lot of programs out there. And one of the things that I really don't see in a lot of programs is helping people with the business side of it. And that's what I just love doing that. I'm really like, I just love business. I don't call myself a speaker because that's not necessarily what I do, but I can do it. And I'm in the business of people, but I love developing the business. And so what we do when you come in and you get that, we make sure that we help you develop your speaking model. What that means is, are you doing keynotes, you doing seminars, coaching, consult, training, online, like what that looks like. We're helping you with your speaking model. Then we're helping you build your revenue model, right? How much money do you want to make? Map out, like, what are your professional fees? Making sure that you understand what this product costs, what that program costs, helping you to put together those professional fees, creating targets and making sure that you hit those targets. And then we help you develop your business model, right? What are you building? A lot of people, like, this word going around is entrepreneur, like, it's real sexy right now. But it ain't. I just got a text from one of my clients, literally just said, "Coach, I got an emergency situation, need some insight when you're available," right? So I need y'all to understand, like, it's serious out here. You need to know exactly what you're doing and have a coach that can guide you through it. So helping you develop that business model so you know what you're building and you have an understanding on what that's going to look like. Speaking model, revenue model, business model. That all plays into it. All right, let's keep this thing moving. All right, so when you jump into BOSC, here's what you get, right? I've been doing something since I started BOSC. We have a program called the BOSC Master Circle, and that's typically where all of our BOSC graduates go to get the ongoing support, coaching, and things that they need to continue to grow and scale. And I give you access to that when you come into BOSC automatically during the 90-day program. So what you get is 2 calls per month, live coaching calls, Q&A calls with myself and the team. Those are the BOSC Master Circle calls. 3 calls in the 90-day period, or 1 call per month of the live training calls, where we're going through the Q7 and the 6 pillars, making sure that you're tight, helping you develop your signature story. Those are with me and the team. You'll get access to our private BOSC Master Circle Facebook group. In there is where people are putting their wins, what they're getting gigs at, different things that they've learned, lessons learned. If you have questions, all of that type of stuff. Just added that I don't have on here, you get access to the Art of Communication call. We do that call once a month. I think I'm gonna actually go up to like twice a month, where we help you developing the art of communication, right? Or some people call it speaker training and development. I gotta make sure I put that on there. All right. You get all of the archive videos, an on-demand training platform, and then we do the 2-day live training boot camp in Atlanta here at my corporate office. That the 2-day live is where it goes down, right? That's where we make sure you got a clear understanding of that Q7. You work in groups with people and put your process map together, and you're going to stand up in front of people and deliver a 5 to 10 minute talk with your signature story as it connects to your program and or product. All right. We also have developed a brand new BOSC business manual. In this manual is training documents, email templates, sample contracts, sample proposals, the how-tos of starting, how to get gigs, growing and scaling. All of that is in the brand new BOSC business manual. I'm getting caught up because I'm like, yo, when I first started, it didn't look nothing like this. It's crazy. It didn't look nothing like this. All right. So these are the things you get when you come into the program. So this is a picture, and I threw this in here because I thought this would be cute. This is a picture of this past weekend's graduating class in the office here in Atlanta, 2 days. Everybody got up, did their talk. Some people did their talk twice. They got their process flows together, their maps together. We had a phenomenal 2 days, a phenomenal 2 days. People walked away with what they needed to begin to start, grow, and for some scale their business. So I want to, at this point, I want to invite you to jump on in BOSC, right? It's an early bird right now. I even set up a payment plan. Early bird is $9.99. Regular price is $14.97. The first class starts April 7th. We currently have 15 people registered for this quarter, and I'm only bringing in 5 more people. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not sales pitch. I'm not pitching. Not sales pitch. I want to keep, let me just show you. As you notice, I want to keep classes small and intimate so we can give people the attention that they need. So I stop bringing people in. So I'm usually about 20, 25 people, and we're good. I don't like to go past 25, and I like to keep it under 25. So the early bird, which could end at any day, is on right now. And then you can come in on a payment plan at $199. You drop $199, that locks your seat in. Here's the best thing. When you come in, if you come in today on the 199, you get access to everything immediately. So while your first BOSS class might not be until April, I think it's April 7th, you actually will come in. If you came in tonight, you're going to get access to the Facebook group tonight. You're going to get access to the recordings tonight. You'll get access to everything tonight. And you can actually start watching and getting connected to the community. Remember, I said when I got started, there were 5 C's. The first C was get a coach and be coachable. This is your opportunity. If you're serious about doing the business of speaking and coaching, taking your speaker-driven business to the next level, we got coaches. I'm the coach to help you get to where you want to be. All right. So here's an opportunity for you tonight. Take advantage of the opportunity. 199 down. All right. What I want to do is I want to open it up for some Q&A. Y'all get your questions together. I want to answer some questions. I want to help you. Yep. Let's get some questions going. I'm gonna come off of here real quick, and we're gonna come on here. All right. Open it up. Raise your hands with questions and or drop your questions in the chat. Okay. All right. Braxton says, what was the, okay. Exciting, engaging, entertaining, and educating, Braxton. Educating is that last E. Educating is that last E. Let's see if we can get some hands up. Let me check some hands. All right. Drew, I'm unmuting you, sir.
Hey, Coach, I was just about to type. You know, I'm not in really at speaking or coaching, but I was thinking maybe that this might be able to help me with like a sales pitch when I'm on site on clients' homes, or just help me kind of articulate kind of myself in terms of hearing people and then delivering what they need to hear.
Yeah, so here's the great thing, Drew. One of the things that I do in BOSS, like you know me, so you know I'm a business guy. I use this framework on people I work with one-on-one. I use this. There are people that come into BOSS that they're trainers, they are authors, they have brick and mortar. Regardless of anything, you need to be able to develop your story as it relates to your product. And so one of the benefits that the program can have for you, Drew, is it can help you, especially that QA, get clear on some things and help you put that story together and help you with that communications piece. So I do this not only with speakers and coaches, but with people that have brick and mortar and have different businesses. It's phenomenal for that.
Thank you.
And in that email I sent you earlier, it's included in that. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. Stacia, you are unmuted. Stacia.
I was just wondering, when you're working through the program in the 90 days and you're doing the live trainings and the coaching, you're basically getting all of these things put in place so that when you come to the 2-day live, you're prepared to then present it to other people. Is that the way it works?
Yeah, absolutely. We take advantage of the 90-day, all the calls in the months during the 90 days, so that at the 2-day, we focus on 3 things at the 2-day, right? 3 key things. The first thing is making sure that we're super clear on the Q framework. The second thing is having you present your signature story as it relates to your program. And then the third thing, making sure that you have a process flow and a process map together for your back end. Those things we need to make sure it's clear. So at the 2-day live, it's almost like we're gonna walk you through how to get, sharing your story, how to get the gig, where to look for the gig, and what the back end process looks like. So that as you leave it on the last day of that 2-day, you can literally go out and take the information and get a gig. Now, here's a little sidebar. The way that I work, remember in the beginning when I said I'm very driven, I'm a pusher, I'm that in your face type of coach that says, while you're in the program, I'm challenging people to go stand in front of their ideal audience and practice their story and share their story. So now you're getting used to the no's, the rejections, and things like that. And then you're getting a little comfortable with actually standing up and sharing that story. So absolutely.
And then after the class, then you get to belong to the master circle so that you continue to get the ongoing support as you run into stumbling blocks.
Yeah. So the way it works, there's levels to it. So the very first stage is the 90-day program, and that's where we give you the Q7 and the Q framework and the 6 pillars. You get your clarity on that. Once that's done, you'll have an opportunity to jump into the BOSC Master Circle, where we will enhance that, and you're in a larger group. I think right now we have about 100 people in there, close to 100 people in there, and they're all BOSC graduates. And so you're actually connected with people, and then we're doing the bi-monthly calls, and you're connected with people that are in the game working, so you can compare notes, learn, and grow. Then after that, you'll have the opportunity, as you grow your business, you can look into the BOSC Plus. And that's for people who are generating at least 5 figures a month in business and are ready to grow. That's where we start talking about making sure you have your email campaigns together, your Facebook ads, really building the business on another level. And you get to be a part of our BOSC Mastermind, where I bring in some of the game changers, some of the guys that have helped me to get to where I am, and some of the business people to actually share information and get you to the next level.
And I bet a big benefit is that if you got 100 people in there, you all get to talk to each other and network and brainstorm with each other. So it's not just you and your team we're learning from, it's each other we're learning from.
Absolutely. I'm big, and I told my kids this, Stacia. I am not going to be able to give you everything that you need. But what I can do is create an environment where you can have an opportunity to get what you need from other people. And so what we've done is create an environment with people who are actively working in this business, and you're able to get information from them, as well as myself and my lead coaches.
Great. That sounds awesome. Thank you so much, Kendall.
You're welcome. All right, let me look down here in the question box. I got a question. Wait a minute. Yeah, thanks. I think I missed it. All right. Anybody else? Any questions? Any questions? Any other questions? Raise your hand. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me look here in the chat. Ross, I don't see those questions. I'm going to unmute. You're unmuted, Ross.
All right. Yeah, I got it. If I have a gift, but I get nervous, like if I believe I have a gift, but I get nervous when I get in front of people, will you guys help me get over that fear?
You will absolutely get over that fear. 2 things are going to happen. We're going to put you in front of a group of people, and we're going to help you stand flat-footed and share information. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be afraid. I told the group this past weekend, the very first time I spoke in front of ET and CJ, I was sweating. I was shaking in my boots. And I'll be honest, even now, to this day, when I speak in front of them, I'm a little nervous. So being afraid and being nervous is normal. It's par for the course. What you have to do is do it anyway. And we give you every opportunity to do that. The only reason why you're scared is because you're not practicing. And that's why we push go get 3 gigs. When you come to the 2-day live, we put you in front of people so that you can actually speak and kind of confront those fears. So yes.
And then will you also help me figure out what to charge for my speaking engagements? Yep,
we will work with you and help you. Once you determine what you do, what experience you have doing it, this is what I tell everybody. You don't charge your fee based on the quote unquote speaking. Your fee is based on what experience you bring to the table. And it's going to give you the confidence and the belief that you can charge that. So when I work with the NFL, my fee is not based on me being a speaker. My fee is based on the experience and the expertise I bring that's going to help them solve the problem. People bring you in to solve problems. That's why in the Q framework, the question is, what problem do you solve? And I think the biggest challenge that a lot of people have is we're used to just going in and speaking and not doing business. Business dictates that you have a problem as my ideal client. I am experienced in this area and I can help you solve that problem. And so based on my experience, that is what is going to determine what that professional fee is. And we walk you through what that looks like. And the crazy thing is, so I worked with the Bears in 2018. And immediately after, once I signed the contract with them, I raised my fee because I had more experience. When I worked with the Bills, raised my fee again, more experience. When I went to the FBI and worked with the FBI, raised my fee again because my experience has increased. So as you gain more experience, it elevates your brand. It gives you more leverage so that you can raise your fee as it compares or relates to the market that you're in. So I'll give you an example. You don't want to say that you work with students and you speak to middle school students or high school students, and you're trying to walk into a school, a high school or middle school charging $20,000. They don't have the budget for that, typically, unless you have an incredible brand, and then they'll find the $20,000 to bring you in, and I've seen that. Braxton. Braxton, I'm gonna bring you off mute and let you ask the question. Hold on one second. Braxton, you are unmuted. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was just getting ready to ask the same question that he asked previously, well, just now about the how much is an acceptable fee for starting out as a speaker, but
Yeah.
but you just answered that question, so.
Good. Let me just walk you through it. Let's just walk through it real quick, Braxton.
Okay.
Are you speaking now? Do you speak now?
Yes, I have a couple of engagements lined up right now.
Good, good. So what is your area of expertise? What do you do? If I go through the Q7, what do you do?
Well, I impact students, high school and college students, and help them with leadership habits that build character.
Okay. And what problem is that solving for your ideal client?
The problem that is solving is most of the students that I talk to, they don't have the leadership skills in order to be successful in either in the classroom or on the basketball court or either athletic field and what they're playing.
Good. Two things. What are the consequences for me as your ideal client if I don't bring you in to help me solve that problem? What are the consequences?
The consequences if you don't bring me in as an ideal client, one, you'll still have the lack of leadership from your players or from your students within the classroom. And two, you'll still be at a standstill trying to figure out how you're going to get leadership from those players or from those students and have them be effective in whatever they do.
So when you think about consequences, I want you to think on the other side of the scope too, Braxton.
Okay.
Think about if I'm a principal or an AD, that if I don't get that and I don't get the leadership, we're not going to win as many games, which would put my job in jeopardy. If I don't have the leadership, our test scores may not get to where they need to be, which could put my job in jeopardy or my budget, right? But remember, as we're doing business, when people's salary or their job security is affected, it can have a very harsh consequence. So if you're the guy that can come in and solve that problem, you that guy.
Gotcha.
And so if you don't mind me asking, what is your range? I'm sorry, before I ask that, what is your experience?
So I've been to the level of professional basketball overseas, and I've been a head coach for various middle school teams, boys and girls, and head coach for high school boys varsity basketball.
I'm about to change your life. So what range do you charge?
Well, what I had, my wife and I, we talked about this. What I had, it was at $1,500 for.
You're killing yourself. So let me tell you what I can do with you and for you inside of BOSC. Because you have that experience, first thing is, I would say that those students need to be a secondary market for you. There's a primary market where the budget is a lot more. And so
Okay.
helping you identify that primary market as it relates to athletics. And because you were playing at a professional level, you can deal with D1, D2, or D3 athletes as well as professional athletes, and
Okay.
building out not just a talk, but a program.
Got you.
And that $1,500 turns into a minimum to start 5,000, and then we go into 7,500 per talk. And then as you build, you're talking about 10 to 15 grand for a full day, and solving problems for coaches and athletic directors.
Got you.
I think you're in the wrong market.
Awesome. All right, I wrote that down. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm in the boss. We can get you right. I'll get you
All right.
Great. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? Just raise your hand or drop them in the thing. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I don't miss nothing. Good. Good. Got it. Yep. Got it. Perfect. I don't see any hands up. All right, guys. I want to thank you for coming in again. We are taking enrollment for BOSC Q2. You can jump in now and get the early bird with a $199 down payment. I do not know how long that is going to last. But if you are interested in joining, you can go to this website. It is bossmasterclass.com and click the link for the $199 payment plan, or catch the early bird and do the $9.99. I promise you, probably within the next couple of days, that price is going to go up to the $14.97. I want to thank you guys for joining. I hope you got some value. I hope you were able to take something away that can move the needle for you today. Y'all have a great grind day. We shall talk soon.